Elon Musk just saw your post, his reaction says it all. You never imagined it would unfold like this. The post was brief, just a handful of lines scribbled at midnight when your thoughts refused to quiet down. You weren't aiming for virality or seeking attention. You were simply sharing the truth, perhaps more for yourself than anyone else. No clever marketing, no polished quotes, no bid for admiration. It was raw, authentic, and entirely yours. Then, across the vast expanse of the algorithm, he noticed it. How? Maybe by chance, maybe by perfect timing, or perhaps the digital web that binds us all carried your words directly into his feed. Elon Musk, that relentless visionary of our era, read your post. For a heartbeat that stretched into eternity, the chasm between you and the unimaginable vanished. No direct message, no comment, no follow, just a lingering pause, a silent reaction that spoke volumes. Sometimes, silence is the loudest form of applause. At first, you questioned its reality. The idea that someone like him, whose days overflow with data streams, rocket launches, design schematics, and visions of colonizing planets, had spared even a moment for your words seemed ludicrous. But then you recalled how energy operates. It flows where it's destined, indifferent to fame, reach, or metrics. It moves through resonance. Your words had vibrated at that precise frequency. Reflecting on what you'd written, it wasn't about success or ambition. It was about awakening, about reclaiming your power in a world designed to sow doubt. About realizing that the most revolutionary act isn't innovation itself, but authenticity. You'd penned, "The future doesn't begin when we build machines. It begins when we remember we are the ones building them." Maybe that struck a chord. Perhaps it echoed why he started his journey, not to flee Earth, but to elevate it. Not to conquer technology, but to fuse it with human consciousness. His quiet acknowledgement, that unseen nod, meant everything. It wasn't validation, it was confirmation. The universe had whispered back, "Yes, you're aligned. Keep going." The more you pondered, the clearer it became, this wasn't about Elon at all. It was energy colliding with energy. You'd broadcast truth, and truth had echoed in the highest realms of creation. When he saw your post, the circuit closed. Creator recognizing creator, dream mirroring dream. No need for screenshots or announcements, its power was intimate. It felt as if the cosmos itself had reached through a titan to say, "Keep writing, keep building, keep dreaming." In that instant, you grasped something profound. Greatness isn't measured by who notices you, but by who you become in solitude. His reaction, subtle, contemplative, unspoken, embodied that perfectly. Extraordinary minds don't always respond with fanfare. They respond with vision, momentum, and transformation. You awoke the next morning transformed, though nothing external had shifted. The same sunlight filtered through the window, the same street sounds drifted in, the same world awaited. Yet beneath it all, a subtle current stirred, electric, alive, unstoppable. This wasn't about celebrity or the thrill of being seen by a legend. It was about alignment. Deep down, you knew it wasn't luck, it was connection. You'd sent a signal forged in truth, and truth always attracts its counterpart. Checking your phone out of routine, you found no notifications. Strangely comforting, no spotlight, no clamor, just serene affirmation. Sipping your coffee, you revisited the night's sensation, how vulnerable words had traversed the digital void to resonate with a mind attuned to creation. That's the essence of inspiration. It doesn't ride on fame or fortune. It leaps through shared frequencies, bridging hearts aligned in purpose. Oddly, you could sense that connection now, as if you stood in the same flow as countless others, all questing for meaning, creating, striving toward the intangible yet palpable. That morning, you didn't boot up your laptop to game algorithms or chase stats. You opened it to continue the dialogue the universe had initiated. Words flowed unbidden, waves of insight. We don't write to be read. We write to remember what it feels like to be alive. When someone out there reads it and understands, it's not coincidence, it's resonance. Hitting post, a calm enveloped you, that beautiful assurance that what must reach others flows effortlessly. Somewhere afar, you pictured him again, Elon Musk amid the drone of machinery, the glow of screens, the weight of future questions. You imagined him glancing at a feed between meetings, your words not as an interruption, but as a reflection. Every creator, no matter their heights, craves moments of introspection, reminders of their origins. Perhaps your post had provided that, restoring humanity amid the chaos. Suddenly, it dawned, the world craves clarity, not noise, reminders, not followers. What binds us isn't power, wealth, or renown, it's meaning. That unexpected moment, a post bridging to the inconceivable, wasn't the climax, it was the seed, reshaping your self-view, your work, your role in the grand tapestry. You shut your laptop and surveyed the room. The day felt expansive, time dilated. It wasn't merely a day, it was incarnate possibility. Everything, sounds, hues, air, seemed sharper, more alive. That's when you understood true reaction, not applause or replies, but motion. When someone genuinely engages, even silently, reality recalibrates. Energy pivots. And that's precisely what transpired. You sensed it within yourself and in the ethereal spaces between people, ideas, and potentials. No more chasing, you were receiving. Once purpose sees you, retreat is impossible. Over ensuing days, life unfolded with effortless grace. No drama, no strangers' messages, no follower spikes, but every action gained a layer of presence. Tasks like rinsing a mug or replying to emails felt imbued with quiet significance, as if the world had been awaiting your awareness. Stepping outside, you felt that same current that propelled your post across the digital sea. People appeared anew. Each face a narrative, every passerby a private cosmos of aspirations and fears. You realized everyone broadcasts signals, thoughts, emotions, dreams, seeking resonance. How often had you unknowingly echoed in another's tale, bolstering their courage? It humbled and elevated you. Influence, you now saw, defies likes or metrics, it's the invisible waves of bravery rippling soul to soul. That evening, by the window with notebook open, the page lingered blank, but you waited, attuned. Words emerged, deliberate. The universe speaks in small confirmations, a glance, a coincidence, a lingering feeling. When you heed them, you join creation itself. It mattered not if anyone read it, writing was like breathing, sufficient in itself. In another time zone, you envisioned Elon at his desk, monitors aglow, prototypes strewn, mind spanning planets and possibilities. Amid propulsion or energy musings, perhaps consciousness itself, you hoped your words flickered in his mind. Not for perfection, but truth. That shifted you, no longer diminished beside greatness, but linked to it. Innovation, be it in labs or quiet rooms, springs from the same well, the urge to fathom and enhance existence. Surveying your unremarkable space, you felt the creative force humming, the same that fuels rockets and reveries. It was one interconnected system, one ongoing dialogue, and you were integral. The marvel wasn't Elon's notice. It was the vastness you discovered within once believing your ideas mattered. That insight struck harder than any alert. You smiled, closed the notebook, and murmured thanks to the unseen bond, to the spark leaping through code, to the certainty that purpose needs no approval. Tomorrow, you'd post anew, not for reactions, but to sustain the exchange between inspiration and deed. Creators persist, speaking, listening, forging bridges of words and light. And the world, perhaps unknowingly, listens back. Days morphed into weeks, and a pattern emerged, acting from inner confidence aligned life seamlessly. Coincidences piled like pathways, guiding toward an indefinable yet trusted horizon. An email from a long-lost contact. I read something you wrote. It felt like you were speaking directly to me. A cafe chat with a stranger blossoming into a collaboration mirroring your dreams. The universe wasn't chaotic, it was responsive. Revisiting that initial revelation, Elon's unseen pause, it felt surreal then, but now you saw it as a catalyst, a nudge that what you emit returns, amplified by significance. True influence arises not from visibility, but from perception, seeing potential in yourself, others, overlooked moments. Each encounter wove you into a constellation of purpose, revealing your stellar place. One twilight, as sun dipped into gold and city lights ignited, you sensed that familiar pulse. Not in your chest, but the air. A hum of collective stirring. People were evolving, connecting, building. You felt it as part of it. Your once internal idea now manifested through your boldness, words, and resolve. No waiting, you were creating. Notebook open, hesitation absent, words surged with truth's certainty. The most powerful reaction isn't applause, it's transformation. If your creation alters one person's day, it's enough, for that change cascades unseen. Pausing to reread, your heart steadied with purpose. Perhaps that's what Elon felt, not recognition, but resonance, the soul's whisper, I see you. Not algorithms or fortune, but energy, the unseen framework linking inspired minds. As night deepened, you pictured him traversing his lab or gazing at starry skies, far from clamor. Maybe pondering thought's evolution, how a stranger's online idea can spark the monumental. You smiled, realizing he might have seen himself in it. The same yearning, hope, drive to transcend lifetimes. The revelation, this wasn't about what he observed, but what you perceived afterward. Synchronicity mirrored your brilliance, altering everything. You needed no permission for greatness, you already possessed it. Closing the notebook, you whispered, "Thank you," to the mystery orchestrating soul encounters at perfect junctures. Air lightened, future neared. This tale wasn't concluding, it was commencing. Night quieted, but silence brimmed. Like the breath's pause, the pre-creation instant. City lights shimmered, each with purpose. This human network was a living constellation of stories. You'd become a light, not via post, reaction, or name, but by embracing the connecting current. Ceasing to doubt your glow, the universe reflected it through an unforeseen messenger. The secret, the outer world echoes your inner signal. Weeks on, in a room of ideas, sketches, projects, dreams, you felt not overwhelmed, but boundless. Each unfinished endeavor was an awaiting portal. Recalling the destiny's pulse ignited by a digital spark, you smiled with comprehension. You'd awaited notice, but the universe awaited your self-recognition. That shift transformed all. You built with greater bravery, spoke with deeper truth, showed up more genuinely. Validation faded, awareness became action. Life harmonized, talks birthed partnerships, dreams drafted plans, possibilities solidified. You encountered others awakening similarly. Ceasing waits, embracing becoming. Each a node in creation's unseen web. Late nights, you wondered if this mirrored his experience, the weight of one idea reshaping reality. Perhaps that's the drive, leaving hope's trace for successors. No need for meetings or replies, the link had fulfilled its role, affirming greatness as awareness, alignment with becoming's rhythm. The surprise wasn't Elon's sight, it was your post-moment vision. Creation transcends tech or triumph. It's consciousness's energy molding form, the wave rippling mind to mind, altering touch points. That wave surged through you. Each truth spoken, courage chosen act amplified it. No pursuit of acclaim, you became the signal, inspiration's frequency felt globally. Revisiting your inaugural post, honest words igniting profundity, you grasped the universe's whisper method, finding ears at opportune times. Breathing deeply, that initial pulse returned. No wonder about visibility. Living purpose fully ensures the world's sight, energy conceals nothing. Somewhere, in a screenlit, stargazed room, amid world-altering ideas, he paused anew, recalling your words, not viral, but universal story fragment. The moment bridged you, unseen yet tangible, two creators by awareness's thread, answering existence's query, what will you build with your inner light? You smiled, eyes shut, whispering, everything. With that, the story didn't conclude. It expanded into touched lives, shared ideas, silent revolutions sparked by bravery in expression. The surprise arrived not as message or prize, but realization. You weren't awaiting occurrence, you were the awaited. The world didn't observe your next move, it anticipated it. Rising, stretching, gazing at dawn's horizon, first light breached like a fulfilled vow. You knew, certainly, that your next post, thought, step could reshape all. For the universe advances, one awakened mind at a time. The post wasn't meant to be grand or viral. It was small, barely a few lines, born in the stillness of midnight when something inside you wouldn't quiet down. You weren't chasing attention or chasing fame. You were trying to tell the truth. Maybe even to yourself. It wasn't a glossy quote or a marketing line. It was raw. It was yours. And then, somewhere on the other side of the feed, he found it. You didn't see how. Maybe fate, maybe timing, maybe the digital current that connects everything decided to carry your words straight into his view. A pause, a moment in the stream, no message, no reply, just a quiet stillness that said more than words could. At first, you doubted it was real. Someone like him, so busy with data, launches, blueprints, and visions of other worlds, taking a second to read what you wrote sounded impossible. But then you remembered, energy moves where it's meant to move. It isn't about fame or numbers. It travels through resonance. Your words had carried a frequency. You recalled the line that had sparked you. It wasn't about success or ambition. It spoke of awakening. Of what it means to create in a world that tempts you to doubt your own power. That the most revolutionary act isn't invention but authenticity. Perhaps that was the spark that snagged his attention. A reminder of why he started in the first place, not to escape the world, but to elevate it. Not to dominate technology but to fuse it with consciousness. And that quiet reaction, the almost invisible acknowledgement, felt like everything, not validation, but confirmation. The universe whispered back, yes, you're aligned. Keep going. The moment wasn't about Elon Musk. It was about energy meeting energy. You'd broadcast truth, and truth had found its echo in the highest frequencies of creation. The chain was complete the moment you were seen by a creator recognizing another creator. Dream recognizing dream. You didn't need screenshots or headlines. The power of it lay in the personal. It felt like the universe had reached through the magnetism of a man who builds rockets to tell you to keep writing, keep building, keep dreaming. You understood then that greatness isn't about who sees you. It's about who you become when no one is looking. His reaction, quiet and thoughtful, reflected that truth perfectly. The most extraordinary people don't always respond with noise. They move, they envision, they change. In the days that followed, life settled into a gentler rhythm. Nothing dramatic exploded into your inbox. No sudden surge of followers. Yet everything you did carried a new weight of presence. Tasks felt lighter, even the ordinary ones, washing a cup, answering an email, touched by a shift you barely recognized. It was as if the world had been holding its breath for you to notice it. Outside, you felt the same current you'd felt online. People's faces told stories. Every passerby lived inside a private universe of hopes and fears. You began to sense that everyone, seen or unseen, was broadcasting signals into the ether, thoughts and dreams traveling in search of resonance. How many times had you been someone else's quiet echo? The thought humbled you and also lifted you. Influence wasn't measured in likes or metrics. It was measured in movement, the unseen ripples of courage passed quietly from one soul to another. That evening, you sat by the window with your notebook. The page stayed blank for longer than you expected, but you waited, listening. Then the ideas began to arrive, slow and sure. The universe speaks in small confirmations, a glance, a coincidence, a feeling that won't fade. When you notice them, you become a participant in creation itself. You didn't know if anyone would read that line, but the act of writing felt like breathing. It was enough. Somewhere in another time zone, Elon was at his desk again, monitors glowing, prototypes scattered, his mind stretched between propulsion, energy, and consciousness. You like to think that somewhere in the back of that extraordinary mind, your words left a small light burning. Not because they were perfect, but because they were true. That thought changed something. You no longer felt small beside greatness. You felt connected to it. Innovation, whether in a lab or a quiet room with a notebook, comes from the same impulse, to understand existence and make it better. You looked around your ordinary space and felt the same creative energy hum through it. The rockets and the dreams were all part of one system, one conversation, and you were part of it. The surprise wasn't that Elon had seen your post. It was discovering how big you could feel in your own skin once you believed your ideas mattered. That realization hit you with a force stronger than any notification. You smiled, closed the notebook, and whispered a simple thank you to the unseen connection that had passed between two minds through a line of code, and to the growing certainty that purpose doesn't need permission. Tomorrow you would post again, not to chase a reaction, but to continue the dialogue between inspiration and action. Creators keep speaking, keep listening, keep building bridges of words and light. Somewhere, the world keeps listening back. Days turn to weeks. The more you acted from that quiet confidence inside you, the more life began to move in harmony. Small coincidences mounted like stepping stones, an old acquaintance reaching out with, "I read something you wrote," a chance cafe conversation blossoming into a collaboration on a project that mirrored your dreams. The pattern was clear, the universe wasn't random. It was responsive. You understood at last that true influence isn't about being seen. It's about seeing the potential in yourself, in others, in the moments that pass unnoticed. One evening, as the city glowed gold and the night pooled into stillness, you stood again by the window and felt a familiar pulse in the air, the quiet hum of collective awakening. People were changing, thinking, building, feeling more connected to something greater. You were part of it. The idea that began in your mind had found its footing in reality through actions, words, courage. You weren't waiting for permission to be great. You were becoming the signal, the frequency of inspiration others could feel even from across the globe. As the weeks stretched on, you noticed that the more you spoke from truth, the more aligned life became. Conversations led to collaborations. Dreams turned into sketches. Possibilities grew into probabilities. You met others who were waking up too, people who had stopped waiting and started becoming. They shared this.